All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Me here, talking real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. So, Spotify is, they're caving a little bit to the pressure. They now are going to be writing out a more detailed terms of service. They're not going to be censoring or blocking Joe Rogan, but now they are very concerned about all of this mis and disinformation that's out there. Even though they claim they don't want to be censors, the pressure brought on mostly by Neil Young, but now Joni Mitchell, has kind of reached a crescendo to some degree, because you've got the entire media industrial complex that are also in on this, who have put that story out far and wide. And again, Joe Rogan doing misinformation and disinformation, and how can he continue to get away with that? They don't talk about the people who are on Rogan's podcast. They don't try to debate the guests that Rogan has. They don't say, hey, heard you on Joe Rogan. I'd like to talk to you about this. I'd like to debate you. We've got a guy on our side. Have you ever seen that, by the way? Have you ever seen like the two views debating each other? And that is so wrong. And, it kind of goes to the political atmosphere of the country too, where you'll have a presidential campaign and the debate is all about theatrics. There's very little substantive issues. That's why America gets fed up and says, okay, you're not talking about the things that matter to me the most. And in the case of Spotify, right, if people want to go and listen to Joe Rogan, that's what they're doing the most. That's what they want to hear. That's what they want to do. And so these elites, the media, Joni Mitchell, Neil Young, I'm sure people, I've said my prediction would be Jon Bon Jovi would do this. I think he would do it in a second, because I'm thinking of all like the neoliberal characters who come along and say, yes, please remove my music from that. You would think they would be smarter. There's no revenue stream. They're still at home doing lockdown concerts, and they're still going out to stadiums and then having these concerts get canceled because one guy in the crew has something. Oh boy, one guy in the crew has something, so we're going to inconvenience 10,000 people. That's what we do nowadays. Just shut it down. Even though I bought my tickets, booked the airplane, booked the restaurant, booked the hotel, whatever I had to do, right? Maybe not book the restaurant, but you know what I'm saying. So, and all that to say, I just think it's crazy that people just can't, this is what I was told in the 1980s. If you don't like what they're doing, turn it off. All of the free speech, D. Snyder type people, right? Well, if you don't like what they're doing and saying, Howard Stern, just turn it off. You don't have to listen to it. Exactly. And that would be the case when it comes to Joe Rogan. But the pressure on these giant media companies from the state, because they all work in concert with the state. Again, Spotify, another arm of the state. Here, we'll give you a little entertainment to appease you. Oh, wait, this just in from the government. We can't keep doing that. We've got to put black box warnings out. We got to put, hey, don't click on this link because it will go to a scary place. I love that. This link may be unsafe. And then you're thinking to yourself, because you've gotten the computer virus, especially back in the early days doing this, and you're thinking, oh, this is going to blow up my computer. No, it's unsafe information. Imagine being scared of information. This is where we're at. I can't handle this information because I've been told the same thing for 2 years. And now you're going to present me with something that's going to shock my world. And then I'm going to think, what did I do to myself? What did I do to my kids? What have I been advocating for when all along it was the exact opposite of what I should have been doing? That's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of the word getting out. They're afraid of empowerment. And Joe Rogan is about empowerment. Joe Rogan isn't about sitting around waiting for someone else to solve his problem. I mean, he didn't do the little emperor protocol, but yet he's still with us, right? And that makes them even more angry. I remember when the Orange Man got sick initially, and he was telling people what he was doing, and they're like, he's putting out the worst information possible. He's doing, and after 2 years of putting out the same information with the same level of fear, these people, they're so invested in this, they just won't let go of it. They just, I mean, all of their doctors, the ones that they love and trust, could do a 180 tomorrow, which they won't because they're all getting paid by somebody, right? But say in theory they did, they would still find a way to not let go of this. You know how they move the goalposts, like, hey, at least you're not going to die. That's all they have. And I'm not sure if that's true or not, but let's just, for the sake of argument, say, you know, yes, this will kind of go the same way as people who didn't decide to do the little emperor protocol. Yes, you could still, you know, hand this out to your friends like candy, and they're going to give it to their other friends and all of that. It's all true. But at least, hey, you're still above ground, at least for now. Are there any other things that you could? No, there's nothing else you could do. All of the other stuff is just misinformation. So Spotify has decided that they need to be equal time. They need to be equal, or they need to provide voices that will create equal time. You know, I'm reminded what Rush Limbaugh said in the early 90s when everybody was saying, hey, Rush, you're on for 3 hours a day, buddy. You know, that's a long time to be able to say whatever you want and influence these people for 3 hours. Don't you think there should be some equal time? And Rush, without missing a beat, said, I am equal time. And that's true. You've got the media industrial complex. Turn on local TV. Turn on any of these alphabet soup legacy media outlets, including Fox News for that matter, and you will see and hear mostly the same rhetoric. You'll hear the same talking points. It's frightening. It's frightening. Well, we all have to be on the same page, and we all have to kind of beam this message in. And then you've got rock magazines who say this is all just a shiny new theory. A shiny new theory? Really? I mean, they're all walking in lockstep. That makes normal people very suspicious. Very suspicious. And again, Americans don't like when people tell them what to do. They just don't. You always get a second opinion when you get a diagnosis that you don't like. And in this case, we've needed a second opinion now for over 2 years. But we've been walking Operation Lockstep, never mind Operation Warp Speed. I guess they go hand in hand. So yes, Spotify doesn't eliminate Rogan, but Spotify is now kind of saying, hey, we're with you guys. We love censorship. We're with you. Don't worry. If it gets real bad, we'll have to set up more rules. We'll have to make these links super hyperlinks that are blinking with orange lights. And then if you click on it, your computer might shake and rattle for 30 seconds. And then you never know what's going to happen in your house. You might want to unplug everything and then plug it back in. That way it'll take you like another hour to finally get to the website. I mean, they make it rough. I mean, I use Roku a lot. I'll be watching something that's kind of off the grid, and all of a sudden it just stops or shuts down, or it goes back to the homepage. I'm like, what just happened? Do you think they want us seeing this stuff? No, they don't. But technology allows for all of this, and technology also allows for creative workarounds. All we need to do is get Joe Rogan and Elon Musk together to create a platform, and it's game over. Lights out. There will be no Twitter. There'll be no Facebook. It'll be, you know, Rogan Musk. You know, it'll be something. They'll have, you know, Elon will name it like SpaceX 9, or I mean, I don't know what he'll name it, but I'm thinking, and he'll be like, yeah, we could do this in like, I don't know, maybe a couple of hours we can have this up and running. And I'm not the biggest Elon Musk fan, but I think he's getting fed up. And Rogan is somebody who I don't think they want to keep tangling with, because he's the type that will kick their rear end. And At the end of it all, people are going to choose what they want to see, and they will find ways to get there. Some of us who are a little bit more technologically challenged, it might take us a little longer to finally get to that platform and figure out how to use it and be comfortable with it. See, this is what they did to us for the last, I don't know what, 15 years now, is they've gotten everybody used to Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and all of these older sites, Spotify included. And we're all like, okay, I'm comfortable here. And now you're messing with my social media and I don't know what to do about it. Well, there's probably a 10-year-old around who can help you figure it out. That's what I always say. The younger generation knows this stuff cold, and they'll be like, hey, mom, dad, this is easy. Rumble is easy. This is, you know, these other platforms, they're really easy to go to. By the way, all of my videos, just on that note, actually transfer over to a platform called Odyssey. So if someday, for some reason, something goes wrong here, it'll all be over on Odyssey. Pretty cool, huh? Anyway, thanks for watching the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm always looking for new patrons. I'm getting them all the time. Thank you so much for doing that. $1 a month if you want to help me out on Patreon. And we'll be back. More content heading your way soon.